Aces look to complete sweep against Caitlin Clark Fever. About the Aces have won 5 of their past 6 games and are 3-0 against the Fever this season. The most recent victory over Indiana was Wednesday. Aya Wilson broke the WNBA's all-time record for points in a season in an 86-75 win, which marked her return from an ankle injury that kept her out of a 75-71 loss to the Liberty on Sunday. With 4 regular season games left, Wilson is 44 points from accomplishing the league's first season with 1,000 points. She leads the league in scoring 27.3 ppg, blocks 2.7 per game and efficiency rating 34.4 this season. Friday is the Aces' final game of a 4-game road trip before the team returns to Michelob Ultra Arena on Sunday to face the Connecticut Sun. Before the stretch of away games, the Aces boasted about a different energy that accompanied better performances following a 2-4 skid in the team's return from the Olympic break. Question now is whether the Aces, in the number 4 spot, can land the 3rd seed. They are 3 games behind the Sun and have the tiebreaker over them. With Wilson as the MVP favorite, Tiffany Hayes is making a campaign for 6th Player of the Year, averaging 9.3 points off the bench. Starters Kelsey Plum and Jackie Young are averaging 17.8 and 15.9 points, respectively. Point guard Chelsea Gray is on a positive trajectory after missing the first 12 games with a lower left leg injury. She has scored in double figures in 3 of the past 5 games. About the Fever, 19-18 Indiana had a rough start to the season as Rookie of the Year favorite Caitlin Clark adjusted to the WNBA. But with a bit of rest, the Fever came out of the break as one of the hottest teams in the league, losing only to the Lynx and Aces in their return. The Aces' defense limited Clark and Aaliyah Boston on Wednesday. Boston had scored at least 20 points in her past 3 outings but had 6 against the Aces. Clark scored 16. The Fever have clinched their first playoff berth since 2016 and are seeded 6th with 6 games remaining. Contact Callie Lawson-Freeman at clawsonfreeman@reviewjournal.com. Follow. Skip Bayless reveals white guilt for praising Caitlin Clark, fans not buying it. The former FS1 host opens up about his struggle with praising the rising basketball star, fearing racial backlash. Skip Bayless, the once controversial sports pundit, now finds himself out of the spotlight and apparently feeling guilty for cheering on one of college basketball's rising stars, Caitlin Clark. During a recent episode of The Skip Bayless Show, the 72-year-old opened up about his internal struggle with celebrating Clark's success, revealing that her being white played a major role in his hesitation. Bayless, who's never been shy about his hot takes, confessed that the dynamic between Clark and Angel Reese made him question his own motives. He admitted that while Clark's undeniable talent made her worthy of praise, he felt uncomfortable publicly acknowledging it, fearing the racial implications. "I didn't want to be the guy who looked like a red state white man rooting for a red state white girl," he shared, adding that America's racial divide weighed heavily on his decision to stay silent. The former FS1 host delved deeper into the complexity of his feelings, admitting that Clark had been seen by some as a right-wing symbol due to her success in a sport historically dominated by black athletes. "Felt like saying anything positive about her could be twisted into something political, and that's the last thing I wanted," Bayless explained. "I didn't want to fuel any white supremacy narrative." However, Bayless was quick to point out that his reservations had nothing to do with Clark's actual beliefs, as she's avoided making any political statements in her rookie year. He emphasized that his concerns stemmed from the broader perception in a sport where black athletes have long been the stars. "Basketball has been a source of pride for the black community for generations, and I didn't want to disrupt that." Yet, Bayless's candid reflections have come at a time when his career is in limbo. Following his departure from FS1, where ratings for Undisputed plummeted to as low as 40,000 viewers, the sports media veteran is clearly searching for a way back into the industry. With ESPN already dismissing any interest in his return, and his podcast struggling to gain traction, Bayless may be hoping this vulnerable moment will reignite his career. Critics call Bayless's white guilt admission a desperate career move. Some critics, however, aren't buying Bayless's sudden self-awareness. They argue that his comments are a desperate attempt to remain relevant in a rapidly changing media landscape. "It looks like he's auditioning for a new gig by embracing white guilt," one commentator speculated. Maybe he's hoping platforms like Peacock or Roku will take notice.